Well, huge stockpiles of rubbish are building up around the country as councils are trying to work out what to do after China's decide no, they do not want to take any more of 24 different types of our waste, including plastic, paper, because they say it's contaminating their environment. There is one an innovative New Zealand company that is, we want to highlight the good work they are doing on collecting the variety of waste products that we do have on farm. This is Plaspac. So we're joined now in our News Hub Christchurch studio by Plaspac Program Manager Chris Hartshorn. Now, Chris, could you please explain to our audience how Plaspac works?
Yeah, sure. So Plaspac is a product stewardship scheme. It's an accredited scheme, and it basically offers an on-farm collection service for a number of different plastic wastes. The scheme is actually owned by New Zealand's largest supplier of crop packaging products. So what we're offering is a product stewardship scheme to recover that material and make sure it's properly disposed of.
The uptake, though, for farmers for your systems and your collection have been very good, though, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, it's been very good, Richard. Yeah, and it's been growing year on year. You know, we hear about plastics in the environment the whole time now, and the farmers are not immune to that as well. And they've recognised that they have to do something better with what they've been doing in the past, you know, burning and burying. So it's been really pleasing to see the big uptake by the farmers and growers, and we're, as a result, are collecting more and more plastic.
Okay, example. Us good fellas put it all in a big bale after we unwrap our baleage, pile it up. Your people come and collect it. What actually happens to it from that point, and what is the end use?
Right, so what we're doing now, and this is another first for New Zealand, is we're having a lot of this plastic recycled in Auckland by our partner up there, Astron Plastics. Now, basically what happens with the plastic, it gets chopped up, it gets washed, it goes through a mechanical high-speed dryer, and then it gets turned into a pellet. And from that pellet, we turn it into a product called Tough Board. And Tough Board's a plywood replacement product for use by farmers and anybody else. And it's very strong, very hygienic, very easy to use. You just use it like wood. So that's the important thing about having a recycling program, is you've got to have a product to put your waste plastic or whatever it is into, and that makes the whole thing sustainable.
So I think the key message here, would you say, Chris, is that companies producing a product need to give more consideration to the end use of the packaging and be a part of more of an eco-cycle?
Yeah, that's right. And so there's more and more producers or suppliers of products to farmers, in our case, who are much more aware that they need to help their customers deal with the plastics, you know, whether it's packaging or any other product that is made of plastic. So that's in its essence is the product stewardship scheme in action. And this the current government that we've got now is very focused on product stewardship. So we'll be seeing more and more of that happen.
I suppose when we look at it, if everyone recycles their bale wrap, for example, and it goes into either that board or boards, as you said, what is the uptake? Is the product actually being uptaken itself? Are farmers using it?
Oh, absolutely, they are. Yeah, Tough Board has proved to be very popular. We sell a lot to the pig industry because the pigs can't eat the Tough Board. They can eat plywood. And we've sold an awful lot to the deer industry this year because they've had to upgrade their velveting barns to get some much greater hygiene standards in the velveting barns. So that's been a big market for us this year.
And there's also a grating they make, isn't it? And that looks, if you know, for the sheep farmers, if they had to replace grating in their sheds or yards, it'd be a great fit, I think.
That's right, yeah. So Tough Deck is made from the polypropylene twine, and that's our non-slip product. So that's great for flooring. And we're also producing now a root barrier, which is a very thin film designed to keep roots in place, particularly in sort of urban environments when you don't want to get that very great root spread of the trees.
I like where they have the tough deck in the yards so you can curve it so the lambs run around better.
Yeah, you see a lot of that, and you also, like say grating or the boards. As Chris just said, the pigs won't eat it.
Yeah, so, okay, what about good recycling management, though? It's all well and good to have these bins, but if, people are chucking anything in there, not washing out the drums properly, what's a good on-farm recycling system look like in your mind, Chris?
Yeah, so what the bin and liner system that we promote is designed exactly for that. It's about segregating waste at source. And now we have the plastic kept in these bags because it's easier to collect like that, and it's easier for us to bale it once we get it back to our balers around the country. The other key element of the system is that the bag is clear, so the collector can look into it to make sure that there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. So we can take different plastics, but they have to be kept separate. And it's very good system for keeping the farm nice and tidy. You're not going to get this litter blowing around when we get these big nor'westers coming through. The plastic safely and securely in the bag, in the bin, and that keeps it's a good management system.
And what about a cost perspective of where that cost lies of recycling these products? I mean, of course, people like to spend more to do well and part of their environmental management plan on farm, but where can that be subsidised and helped?
Well, this is where we want to see greater product stewardship coming into the agricultural plastic market. So currently, now that we have Donaghy's crop packaging products on board with us, we've got around about 80% of the twine that's sold in New Zealand and 70% of the silage baleage wrap. That is covered by the Plasmac product stewardship scheme now. But everybody needs to take part, because by getting the producer to take some responsibility for this plastic, which is their products once it's become a waste on the farm, we're going to help the industry be able to send this stuff back and to keep the cost down as much as we can. Obviously running around the countryside with trucks, picking all this stuff up, it's very expensive. So there does have to be an element of user pays system. But if the farmers use the system properly, they can get much more plastic away into each bag, and that's what we want, because we want to go to them less often, and we want them to send more plastic to us every time we do go to them. So one of the things I'm most proud of in the whole of the system is that our collection charge has not changed for 13 years. It was set at $40 a bag when we started in 2006. And it's still at $40 today. And the reason we've been able to do that is because there's been more and more farmers taking part in the scheme. So our collection rounds are much more efficient.
Yeah, and Chris, as I've found out, I cut the baleage off, wrap it up tightly and put it in the bin each day. You see these piles of plastic just piling up beside the old tube. If they do that, you get a hell of a lot less. What is the most? I wrote down 100 plus bales wrap you can get in. Much more than that, damn near 200, I'd suspect.
Yeah. If you're using the tubes, you get well over 200 because there's less plastic around the ends. But the standard round bales, we're looking around about 130, 150 wraps in each bag if the farmers use the bin. So that is the key thing about using the bin. Makes it much more cost effective for them. So these bags, when we pick them up, are weighing anything from 250 to 300 kilos.
Well done, Chris, the Managing Director at Plasmac. So going into the winter feeding season, make sure that you are doing this. It's cool to recycle, isn't it? Richard Lowe says so. It's one of the many things he's an ambassador of, saturating his brand. But
Cheeky.
Chris, thank you very much for joining us.
Radio Live Rural Exchange.
Ko Cool. So that's, Lowy, I think what we're going to do on a regular basis is talk about all these different initiatives all around the country where the really good work's going on. I found out about some great initiatives in Hawke's Bay that hopefully we can get on the show where communities are getting together and helping recycle their own household waste as well.
Yeah. It peeves me off a wee bit when you drive around the country and you see these great big piles of plastic, baler trap, not tidied up. It looks an eyesore, and when they get around to it, it's a wet, dirty job. Plasback, you get a cylinder made out of the plywood type board they make, plastic board. It puts in a cylinder. It's like a big rubbish bag goes in there. You tramp it in, wrap it up daily, put it in, tramp it in, and like you can get up to a couple of 100 bales in there worth. And then it comes with a lid so it doesn't blow out. It's all good. And tie the top when you're finished, take it off, get a new bag, and you just, in my area, it's Oxford Couriers, pick it up. $40,
The
as he
couriers
said.
pick it up.
Or Transport, I think they're called. Oxford Transport, pick it up, and $40. Cheap to get rid of.
Fabulous stuff, you guys, as always.
Another really great initiative I'll hope to get on the show is around grinding up wine bottles and putting the glass underneath the vines, get the bugs away.
I like that idea.
So-
We'll just plough through some more of that. What's that vineyard down there? What's it called?
Bob's Rosé or something.
Yeah, best rosé on the skin 7 days I've ever had.
Yeah.
You haven't seen much of it come north though, Lowy, have we?
No, initial when she was trying to be friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Trying
she
to get
was
us
being
on board.
friendly,
But then
yeah.
she sort of became the star of the show and the boss and everything, and we just sort of feel like we've been done out of the beautiful Beano.
But she doesn't live down there any longer. And
No,
Bob-
she's an Aucklander.
Yeah, a Jaffa.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just a Jaffa.
This is Rural Exchange.